Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Made in Mexico Angelus boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Mexican-made Angelus boxing gloves. Now, Angelus is a relatively new company based out of Mexico. I got my pair from Edgar, the boxing collector. If you're not familiar with Edgar, you guys make sure you check him out on his Instagram as well as his website, theboxingcollector.com. Edgar specializes in Mexican-made authentic boxing equipment. One of the best out there, excellent customer service, and Edgar is just an amazing person to do business with. So I highly recommend it. Check him out if you haven't already. Now, with this particular glove, my first impression when I first saw them is they kind of reminded me of the original Casanova, and I'm not talking about the knockoff Casanova that Pro Boxing Supply stole the name. I'm talking about the authentic Casanova that is now known as Necalli boxing, made in Mexico, and it kind of reminded me of that just from first glance without actually putting my hand into it. There are definitely some similarities, but there's also differences with this particular glove from that. I got mine in the blue colorway. It's 100% a genuine cowhide leather construction. It uses one single layer of latex foam over the hand compartment. I got mine in 16 ounces. And just like a lot of the other Mexican boutique brands, these aren't mass produced. They make a certain run of colorways that they do. They sell them and then they might switch it up and do a different colorway. Or if you want to pay a little bit more, you can get a completely custom colorway to your liking. It's completely up to you. But I got this in the solid blue with just a little bit of contrasting black piping around the thumb. Very simple and clean look to it. You can see the leather itself has a satin finish to it. And coming down to the back of the glove on the cuff, it does have a flat cuff that says Professional Angelus, made in Mexico. It is a cloth patch that is stitched on to the back of the cuff right there. And you can actually see the texture of the leather on the back of the glove as well as over the knuckle area. Again, it's a latex foam padding. I'd say that it would lend itself to be a little bit more on the medium to soft side, like you would expect from most latex Mexican style gloves. You do have a leather attached thumb. And then coming onto this, you have double stitching. The grip bar is nice and large and is really firm, so you can feel that. No ventilation on the thumb or on the palm. Black piping around the thumb, as well as black piping where the laces go into. You have pretty long white laces right there. And then on the wrist, you have, I'd say, about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of soft density foam padding that goes up to right about there, as well as on the outside palm edge that kind of tapers off, and you can see it kind of where it ends right there, as well as about 3/4 of an inch of soft density foam padding on the back of the wrist with a 16-ounce weight tag right there. The inside liner, which I'm a big fan of, is they use that polyester satin liner on the inside. So they decided not to go with kind of that rough canvas liner, and I do like the feel of it when it comes to these gloves. Now, quality-wise, these gloves are okay. I'd say they're a step above being okay. I'd say they're pretty good, but they're not great. There's a couple of miscues with this glove that I noticed. The first is going to be the weight of the glove, which is also mentioned on the Boxing Collector's website, on Edgar's website, that the weight of these are actually underweight, which is kind of unique because typically Mexican gloves are overweight. So I feel like it's like they can never get it right when it comes to weight. It's either overweight or it's underweight, where it should just be on weight, in my opinion. Especially when you're putting the latex foam in here. To me, if you're cutting the leather the same for every pair of gloves when it comes to that specific weight, and you're filling it in with the foam and the wrist support and all of that, then it should technically be all relatively within a couple of ounces with each other, and it shouldn't be that drastically off. And what I noticed was the right glove was at, I believe, at 15.2 ounces, and the left glove was like at 14.2, if I can recall. So both the weights between the two gloves were off, and then the left glove was drastically underweight from the 16-ounce advertised weight. So to me, that is a quality issue. The other thing is that this glove is very top-heavy, and the padding on this wrist is super soft, so that causes this glove to be just super floppy. I mean, the midsection portion right here of the wrist support, I mean, there's really nothing there. It's just super soft. So you do have to keep that in mind. And that's kind of the first time I've seen a Mexican-made glove that has a very top-heavy design, and the wrist support is extremely soft. I mean, you can see that when I grab the bottom section, it's just extremely soft. So it would have been nice for this to be more rigid, in my opinion. The stitching, you know, I feel that the patch on here has some stitching that's kind of coming off. In my opinion, could have been done a little bit cleaner, and the design of it looks somewhat generic. Now, I get it. I mean, sometimes that's not the biggest focus of the gloves, is to have a really nice looking patch. But in my opinion, they could have been done with a better border. And you can see the patch itself, it feels like a cheap kind of material. So that would have been nice to have a better patch right there. And another thing I also noticed is there's little imperfections in the leather. There's like a little dent right there on this side into the leather. So that's going to be an issue. Another thing I also noticed, and hopefully the video can pick it up, is that for as much as I've been using this for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, is that you're starting to see that the punch surface where I'm landing my punches, the blue is starting to fade pretty quickly, and I'm also starting to see some kind of like inconsistencies in the leather. So I'm kind of afraid that this is going to start to crack prematurely. So I'm going to add a lot more leather conditioner to kind of keep this supple. But you can actually see over the striking surface that it's starting to show some wrinkling and inconsistencies, where if you go down here to this portion, you don't see it because I'm not landing any punches on the back of my hand. But right here over in the knuckle area, I'm definitely concerned about that. The stitching on the palm could be a little bit cleaner. You can see it's a little crooked the way it comes up right there. The leather quality, aside from this knuckle area, is really nice. It feels really thick, and it has that really strong smell to it. The stitching, the grip bar looks good. The attached thumb looks pretty clean. You can see that right there where it is. You can see kind of where they went through with the needle, and you kind of poked into the leather a little bit. The laces, got to be mindful with these two. These are the type of laces that if you get grabbed by Velcro, they'll fray. So be mindful of that. If you throw these into your gym bag and you have something in there that's Velcro, that it'll snag on these laces. So again, I'd say the biggest issue was going to be the weight, the wrist support being extremely soft, and the issues with over the strike surface, over the knuckles, were starting to show a little bit of premature wear, in my opinion, for as much as I've used these gloves. Comfort-wise, sliding your hand into the glove. Now, this is where the comparison with the Casanova, the original Casanova, comes into play. It has the look of it, the similar kind of thumb, and just the width of the hand compartment. You slide your hand in here. Now, you notice the first thing is that the thumb does have good positioning. The piping is definitely on the snug side, so that's going to take some breaking in. I found some discomfort. I feel that my left hand, this thick part of my thumb, is a little fatter than my right, and I felt like that this piece right here was kind of digging into my thumb with my hand wraps on. It's definitely a little bit more narrow in width across from this side to this side than the Casanova glove, which is a good thing, because I felt like those gloves were way too wide on the inside of the hand compartment, even with hand wraps on. But with these feel a little bit more compact, but there is still a little bit of room right there. The thumb positioning is good, but when you make a fist, I do feel that the thumb can be deeper. I feel it's a little bit on the short side. So when I do make a fist, I feel like the thumb ends up jamming when I land a punch with these, a straight punch, especially with my jabs. There is a really thick roll of leather that they covered with a cloth fabric over this, so it's almost like a secondary grip bar. So you have this grip bar, and then you have another one, and that kind of numbs your finger out because you're gripping onto it. So it's going to take some breaking in this portion of the glove because of that extra grip bar you have in there that basically like hugs the tips of your fingers. So I get the purpose of it, so that you can really grab this portion of the glove to make a fist, but it is a very tight fit there, especially for a 16-ounce glove. The depth is perfect. I love the finger depth. I do wish that the inside liner was a little bit softer in this area and a little bit smoother. Now, with the wrist support, it is very soft around the wrist area. This area feels good. I do like how snug it feels when I make when I tie it down. So when you have somebody lace these up for you, it feels really nice and snug. It would have just been nice to have a little bit more rigid material right there, so it doesn't feel so soft and kind of flimsy around the wrist area. Protection and performance, this is definitely, to me, less of a protective glove and one better for feedback and pop. And for those of you that don't have hand issues, if you do, I would recommend, if you're insistent on getting this type of glove or this particular brand, to maybe try them out first to see how you like them. And then if you feel like they don't offer enough protection, then maybe supplement in like a gel knuckle pad or something that goes over your hand to give you a little bit more extra support. The same thing with the wrist support. You know, if you have an issue with a wrist injury like a clicker like I have, where if you rotate your wrist and you notice that it kind of makes that clicking sound because you have a pre-existing injury or something that's healing, then definitely tape off your wrist or really use supportive hand wraps before you put these gloves on. But again, these to me are more on the puncher side with feedback. Again, I can feel my thumb kind of jamming in the tip, and you can actually just see kind of how it rolls in and that it's really flat at the end right there. So that can definitely be improved. But definitely more of a puncher's style glove. Cost-wise, these gloves are $189 for this particular colorway. I believe any of the basic colorways are anywhere between $189 to $200. I believe if you go with a custom colorway, you're looking at $229 to do a custom colorway plus the wait time that you have. At this point with this particular glove, I don't think it's worth the price based on the other gloves that are available that are from Mexico, made in Mexico. I mean, you look at Cleto Reyes that are, I believe, $179 for a pair of their training gloves. And quality-wise, to me, are better than these. I feel like there's a couple opportunities here that they need to improve on. The wrist support, the consistency with the leather, especially over the knuckle area, a little bit longer thumb, so the thumb is a little bit more comfortable when you land a shot. Your thumb doesn't jam. And just making sure that the weight is better. I mean, I get it. I know a lot of Mexican brands, if not all of them, have weight issues, but for them to be off each other, that's another issue as well. So I feel there's definitely some opportunity there. If these gloves are maybe like in the $140, $130 range, then it would, to me, would be much more attractive and would make sense. But at $189 to $229, based on what I'm seeing with this particular glove, I just don't think it's worth it at this particular time. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Angelus boxing gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.